All right.
Yeah.
Ultimate Fighting chat. That's what we're doing here. We're going to have chats about UFC 278 Usman versus Edwards post-fight version. I'm going to guess that you haven't seen. I'm going to just get straight in if that's all right with you. Straight in.
No time to burn. Let's just get on with it.
My guess is that you ain't seen early prelims. Correct or not correct?
You are correct.
You know what? I have. The first fight was this one. Maybe you're better at the names, but I'll have a go. Daniel Moijo, or is it Moiho da Silva? What is it? You tell me. Moijo or Moiho?
Don't know. Didn't watch the fight. Carry on.
And don't worry about the fight. Don't mean you don't know how to pronounce his name just because you never watched the fight.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, but what would you say if you had to read that out? How would you read his name out?
Daniel Miyago da Silva.
Oh, Miyoho. So not Mio Ho or Mio Joe. Yours was actually a little bit more, professional. What about the other bloke?
Victor El Magnifico Altamirano.
Well, just so you know, and you can see at the top of the screen there, it says performance of the night.
Wow, yeah, so good fight, was it?
Honestly?
Well, all good performance by one of them. Got a submission or a finish or something like that?
Well, you've got the results.
Hang on, don't touch. I haven't looked though. Just judging by these two guys, who do I think would win?
Yeah, I like it.
And I think most people would go for the Silva. He looks a bit more of a solid unit. We know muscles and stuff don't mean anything, but he does just look like a bit more of a solid unit. Altamirano, looks like he needs a good meal. So I'm going to go for the Silva.
Well, right. It was a good fight. Genuinely, it was really enjoyable. It did end in the first round, I think, from memory. And this Altamirano, he was getting done on the feet. So you were right? He was getting a bit done. He got knocked down with a punch. He threw like a low kick with no defense, nothing, really close, and got the classic counter. So he got knocked down, but then he stepped in with a knee, and it went right here in the kidneys or liver. It was on the left side, so I'm guessing it was in his liver, right in here underneath. And the Silva bloke went down, crushed up, and he even did a grit teeth pains face, like ah! It was brilliant, right? He went down, he got done, and it was still exciting even when he went down like that, because what's his name? Altamirano was doing the punches, trying to do him and everything, and he done some disgusting dirt elbows. I mean, they were some of the most powers. A lot of the times, right, we do the chat about this stuff and we say, you got down there and you're doing the ground and pound, and you're not doing the ground and pound. You're just laying there and not taking advantage. This bloke, now, to be fair to him, might have been because he was getting a bit done and he thought, all right, well, I've got to make the most of this, right, because I'm a little bit outclassed on the feet version. He was smashing him with some of the most powers ground elbows I've ever seen. I mean, they were disgusting, really dirty ones, cutting him open and everything. But it was still exciting because there was a bit where De Silva, he was threatening. I know you said blokes don't get done by arm bars, and that's true because he never got done. But he was still threatening with submissions whilst getting elbows. But he did end up getting absolutely smashed from punches because he poshed it up properly, done loads of punches and elbows, and it turned into a classic, your jits ain't nothing. You turn into a white belt if you're getting smashed in the face. Good fight, though. Really, the whole thing was interesting. It weren't very long, but the whole fight was exciting. It was a good one. I know why it got performance. And you know what? I'm glad that they did as well, because you'd think that a fight that a lot of people won't see, whether it be live or like you haven't seen it, they would probably go, that was brilliant, but whoever gives out these bonuses ain't even seen it either. Was Dana White even in there at that point? I don't know. But I like it that he got it because it was good. I ain't saying it deserved it over other fights. I'm just saying it was good.
Sometimes I think that, you're talking there about elbows and ground and pound, and sometimes how it can look. Sometimes people throw it and it looks really vicious, and then sometimes other people throw it and you think, oh, blimey, you couldn't even crack an egg with those shots.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's got to do with how your opponent is feeling as well, right? If you're saying this guy's all crushed up, so he's not really, if you like, using his guard properly, he's not, he's just in survival.
He did have it up. But
yeah, but if you're just
it
doing
didn't matter.
survival mode, you can kind of tee off on someone. Whereas if someone's, is at least wriggling about, like Anderson Silva used to do dodges when he was,
Yeah.
on the mat with Sonnen and stuff. I mean, Sonnen really couldn't break an egg with his punches, but it doesn't matter. He still was, because he was doing dodges. It makes you less likely to commit fully to the shots. You think, I'm going to smash my elbow through the canvas or smash my fist through the canvas. So you have to kind of take a little bit off it. So maybe it's got something to do with that. When you know that the person's just a sit and duck, you can really go to town. I did actually want to bring up some elbows later on in the evening, which I thought were quite good ground and pound.
Yeah,
We'll get to that
from
later.
woman.
But yeah,
That'll be
I
from
agree
that.
that I think it's good that. I think it's good that.
They'd probably be from the woman fight.
That's right. Yeah. Pudilova. We'll get to that though. And
We will get there.
I think that it's good that let's be honest, right? A couple of lads opening up the prelims.
They were good.
They probably were just on a basic, 12 and 12, something like that, money wise. That's a nice little 50 grand for a bit nasty in it, because you look at it and you go, I've forgotten his name, Alto Marino. He's going to get 50 grand. And the guy that had to absorb all that damage and get his face smashed in goes home with nothing.
Did they not both get it?
I don't think so.
I thought they did, but I don't know.
The night is just for the individual person, right?
Oh, is it really?
And
okay.
I think fight of the night or whatever.
Oh, it's because it's both people made that fight.
Exactly.
The thing is, both people made this fight.
As an example, if Masvidal Usman, let's take that for example. Masvidal, unless the whole fight up until the point when Masvidal gets knocked out, he doesn't get the bonus. He only gets the bonus if it's fight of the night, between both of them. If he just gets knocked out, then Usman would get the bonus for knocking him out, performance of the night. So you're the person that takes the damage, and you don't even get a little bit of extra coin.
I mean,
I understand it. I'm just saying it's a bit rough, isn't it?
It does make sense what you're saying. I don't know if it's real or not, but it does make sense. The worst thing about that is not just that he got smashed in and he got his face busted open, but he did make that fight brilliant. He was winning it. He was doing amazing. He just got done by, a body shot, a knee. It was a good knee. You sort of walked into it. But, like you throw elbows when you see him training and they throw out on those UFC dummies on the floor. And they're going hell for leather. Bang, bang, bang. And then they get into a fight and don't do anything. He was doing those dummy elbows on the bloke's head. It was really powers. Yeah, good. Really good. And... yeah, good fight Good fight. So good. Both of them, I liked them. I'd like to see both of them again, De Silva and Altamirano. I mean, Altamirano, he did amazing, but before that, it was like, oof, zero defense, everything. Just, he was a real bandy sort of bloke, just throwing anything. Open it a stick version. And he was getting done for it. Don't matter, though. He sorted it out. What was that? Was that a round one finish, did it say on there, please?
I don't know. You're the...
No, but I didn't put that down. That's why I wanted you to.
It says here, Victor Altamirano defeated, round 1, 3 minutes 39 TKO punch and elbows. But it says on Wikipedia that the guy he fought was called Daniel Lacerda. So I don't know where you got that Miyago from. Anyway, don't matter. Go on to the next one.
It don't matter. Okay.
It don't matter.
Let's
go on to the next one.
All right. Okay. Anyway, good that. The next one is, let's get the shot up for you. There you go. I'm just going to call him the Mongolian murderer, but I'll give you...
Is that his nickname, Mongolian murderer?
Well, I don't know, because I get it all wrong now. Mojito's wrong and all that. I don't know. That's what it said. I mean, it's an amazing nickname, isn't it, that?
That is absolutely fantastic.
That is good. So what's his name? Arequileng. Arequileng. That all right? Not bad, is it?
Watched it, right? Yeah, Jay Perrin. Right.
So you get to do Jay Perrin, the normal Inga's name, yeah? Savage. Yeah. What about Savage? Bit round the middle, that, isn't it? The Mongolian murderer. That is serious stuff.
Brilliant, yeah.
This fight, it was quite enjoyable. This and all, it was quite good. This Perrin bloke, he ain't very good technically. He looks a bit not non-real, but you know what some MMA blokes are like. He's just a bloke who has a fighter bloke, right? He weren't very good technically, but honestly, he was good. And the reason I liked and enjoyed watching him is because he was definitely worse than the Mongolian murderer, as in the Mongolian murderer had good, crisp striking, looked good, but he weren't scared. and he weren't afraid to take a risk and get in there and do what he needed to do to try and win. He knew I could get done here, but I'm going to have an absolute smash, because how else am I going to win this fight? By being worse? I've got to get in there and try and do him. And he made it entertaining by doing that. So I think he knew he was worse and he knew he was losing, but each time he took a risk and smashed in there, right? Each time he went, I'm going to get in here and have a good go because I'm losing on points, for example, he actually had success, because the other bloke was going, well, I'm getting done here or whatever. So he had success. So the more he did that, the more confidence he got, and he started taking those risks a little bit more frequent, and it made it a good, interesting fight. Actually, it's one of those fights that, had it continued beyond 3 rounds, obviously it don't, it's a sport, and he lost that fight. Had it continued beyond 3 rounds, I think he would have won, because he was the grittier. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Yeah, he did get done, right? Decision.
You use the tools to your advantage, don't you, sometimes? And like you say, if you're outclassed technically, you have to, turn it into a brawl, turn it into a street fight, as they say. So, yeah, fair play.
Or just lose. He went out on his shield. He done that version.
Yeah, left it all in the cage. Good for him. Right, next.
Okay, hang on. The next one is yeah, right. This is another one you ain't seen. This is still an early prelim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go 3 for 3. This was good and all. Let's do the names. Amir the Prince Al-Bazi. Now, what I will say is, in his post-fight interview, I think he's been off with some injuries, yeah? So he went, the king is back. So I don't know if I've got his name wrong and all, because I've got down here that he's the prince, right? But so that might be 3 for 3 wrong names and all. But he went, the king is back. I was like, I thought your name was the prince. Anyway, versus Francisco Sniper Figueiredo. That's Davis's brother, isn't it?
Yep.
It was a good fight as well. Really aggressive ground and pound in this one as well. But when Figueiredo was getting done by this ground and pound, he was also threatening with submissions and a leg lock and that, which made it competitive. But in the end, Al-Bazi got round to his back and put in a skin tight rear naked choke and done him. But honestly, that was a good fight as well. Because it was no messing about. It was just a good tear up. That was good.
Yeah. It was that Al-Bazi's first fight since January 2021. So, that's a long time. That's over a year and a half. So
we got a little bit of, information there. I liked it.
Not much. Anyway, yeah. He's all right, that Figueiredo.
I think he's all right as well. Does keep getting done, doesn't he? I think he might have won his last one.
He's kind of a bit of a win one, lose one, isn't he? He's sort of can't really put a bit of a run together. Let's have a quick look. So he's had in UFC he's had one loss. So exactly what I said.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Shows your extensive knowledge of the game.
Even when I'm not trying.
So that was the early prelims. They were all good, all enjoyable fights, no stinkers or anything like that. And we're just on to normal prelims now. I believe, these are the ones where, for us, this is the first televised fight. So I know you've seen this one.
Yeah, I've seen all these.
That's it, right. So AJ the Ghost Fletcher versus Angie Lusa. Losa, they were calling it.
Ange Lusa.
Ange Lusa. Okay. Well, we'll go with the broadcast because Anik was on it, and we know he's the, whatever, the golden seal or whatever. Yeah. Right. As soon as they both come out, you get a feel, don't you, straight away? Like you got a feel when Misha Tate came out. Not a feel of her, but you got a feel of what you thought.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get a feel of her, but yeah, I know what you mean.
but you know, what I mean? But you went, I know what's going to happen here. Just from the shot, even if you're wrong, you make a judgment sometimes based on stance, footwork. And when they came out, I said that this, what's his name? Lusa.
Ange Lusa, yeah.
Lusa. I just thought, I like the way he looks. Not the bod. The body's amazing, but that weren't what I meant. I like the way he looks. I like the way he held his hands. I like the way he moved his hands as he came out. As soon as Fletcher threw a leg kick, he just shifted his leg out of the way, showed he was light on his feet and ready for attacks and all that. I just thought he seemed really aware and really good. But the commentary team were going, AJ this and AJ that, and what's going on here, and blah, blah, blah. He's brilliant, and AJ. And I was thinking, what's happening here? But am I watching a different fight? Because I was thinking this looser bloke, I feel he looks quite good myself. But by the time there was 15 seconds left in the fight, they were saying, you know, in the round, phenomenal first round for Looser. It was all, look at Looser, mixing it up and all that. I was thinking, well, I see all this, Sage. I see all this when he walked out. When the bloke said, you ready? And he came out.
Didn't look that big on a fight night as that picture you got of him there. He was bloody huge.
Oh, you saying the picture's good and the real wasn't like that?
No, the real, I mean, he looked amazing for real, but I mean, there he looks absolutely monstrous. I mean, what weight were these guys? Were they something like welterweight or something? They weren't like big boys, were they? Yeah, it's welterweight. Yeah. He looks absolutely massive, that Looser, in that picture. Well,
is good. I'm not going to say, I'll finish and then you can go. I'm not going to say that this AJ Fletcher was no good or anything, right? I'm not. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I know that's why I had to confirm and clarify that I weren't. But I thought that in round 2, so this AJ Fletcher, he went hell for leather, right? I'm sure you remember. And under the pressure, I think Looser handled it well. He handled all the pressure, handled everything he got given. I just think even the cardio, looking at his body and the muscle business, I think he held out well. Just to me, he showed a lot in this fight. That's all. He showed me a lot of different things in this fight. Over to you. He's the one who stood out for me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I do remember both of these guys from their previous fights. Looser, as they mentioned, he came in on short notice, didn't he? And I can't remember the guy's name. I'll get it for you though. But anyway, when he came in on like a week's notice, he fought someone, and I remember thinking, you know what, this Looser guy is really good. I remember having a chat with you about it at the time and saying, that Looser guy was really good. If he had had a full camp, maybe he'd have won that fight. So I remember thinking early on, he's decent, this guy.
Yeah.
Now, the Fletcher guy, I actually thought he looked a lot better this time from his first fight. His first fight was, or his last fight, should I say, he lost to Semmelsberger. And it was pretty close. I think he lost again with cardio, which is kind of what failed him this time as well. And but to me, he was getting picked off quite easy in the first round. His range management weren't very good, right? It's kind of quite short and stumpy, you know, stocky, muscly guy. And he was getting, he was just getting picked off, and his face, I don't know if his face was mashed up after round 1, but I think it was starting to get mashed up after the first round. I know he's a fair-skinned guy, so he probably tears quite easy, but yeah, I mean, Looser for me, easy got round 1, easy, no question about it. Fletcher, to me, just looked like a sort of a stocky wrestler with an overhand right early on.
Yeah.
Now, later on, I actually warmed to him and thought, you know what, he's actually not bad as well.
I thought it was all right. I enjoyed this fight, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good fight. And you're saying that Looser kept a cool head in round 2. I do think he was only maybe one clean strike away from, going.
Yeah.
So yeah. I get why Fletcher emptied the gas tank. A little bit like you said with the first fight, he might have thought this is my best chance of winning this fight. Is just to get rid of him, because if he recovers and it just goes back to how it was round 1, I'm just going to get picked apart again. And obviously he didn't finish Looser. And when the bit that I just sort of, it was one of those things where I look at and I just go, what were you thinking? Is when he was still consistently landing shots, and he would land one shot and I think to myself, one more of them in quick succession and it's over, but he couldn't get that other one in quick enough. And then he shot in for a double leg up against the cage.
Yeah.
Maybe that. What are you doing?
Breath. No breath.
I know it's no breath, but aren't we always told the wrestling is the most grueling aspect of the sport? Isn't that what we're told? Right?
Yeah, he was doing. I know what you mean, because he was going from punches to grappling.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's even more tiring, right?
Well, apparently so. But even if you say, look, he's gassed out his arms, so he's just trying to get the guy dumped on the mat and then he can rest a bit. It's like, doesn't matter. You're going to get stood up in round 3 and you're going to be from a standing position anyway. I know he was probably just really concerned about his gas tank, but I just looked at
that bloke is. Hang on, hold on. Let me see who that is. Hang on.
All right, I can see you're wearing pants as well. I've just got a little glimpse of that. So that's.
Well, I mean, I could have been wearing no pants.
Yeah, keep this bit in the podcast, because we've seen that you've got your legs out, and.
Yeah, but I could have been wearing no pants.
Well, that would have been worse. Yeah, that definitely would have needed an edit. But
continue.
I think that Fletcher, Look, I get why he did what he did, but I mean, he went out for round 3. He had nothing in him, arms wise, throwing strikes. He had nothing in him, and it was one of those scenarios where when he got dumped on his back, it was just like, if someone offered me decent odds of this guy not getting up off his back, I'd have taken it. I knew he weren't scrambling, he weren't going to get up off his back, he weren't going to manage to, get up, shrimp up to the cage. I knew it was done. So it was a really entertaining fight. I thought both of them were decent, but I do think that Ange Luce is a good, at the moment, mid-tier fighter. Could potentially go higher, but I think he's decent. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And that third round was a bit drippy, wasn't it? Because, like you say, it was just
it kind of ruined the fight a bit, right?
Yeah.
It did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so it weren't great. But he said in the post-fight interview, he said, that's why I had to do the ground thing, because I was tired and all. He's done good truth.
That's fair enough. Got to do what you got to do. Never mind about us two, whether we enjoyed round 3 or not. It's like, you just got to do what you got to do to get the win. So, fair play.
But overall, it was good. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that the looser bloke is...
No, he's really good. I really liked him from his... when he came in on short notice against... I did say I'll get you the name, and I will get you the name. Just
Let's have it, because I might remember it. I don't think I will, but I'll try.
I've lost the name. I had it. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Hang on.
Hey.
Munir Laziz, who I actually decent as well. Munir Laziz. Anyway, let's move on from that.
I'd need a shot. From the name, I've got nothing. All right, next fight. Sean the Sniper Woodson versus Luis Saldana.
Can we have a chat about that tattoo first?
Does it say "Born Ready"? Does it?
Yeah.
What's the building?
It looks like like a skyline. I don't know, maybe he's from New York or something. I don't know. That's what it looks like. I ain't analysed it particularly closely, but when I said, can we have a chat about that tattoo, I didn't need to chat about it that much, but we've pretty much covered it. It's just, yeah. But let's put it like this. If someone came along to you and said, you have no choice, you have to have that tattoo in that position on your body, or you have to have Darren Elkins' damage one in the same position on your body, which one are you choosing?
I think I'm going damage. I like the word better than Born Ready. It's smaller.
I'd like to get a little poll going on that. We should do like a tournament of bad tattoos. So Born Ready versus the damage. Alan Belcher's Johnny Cash tattoo.
That's brilliant.
And just see who has got the worst tattoo in UFC history. But this guy, he might be born ready to win that tournament. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it ain't good. Well, let me know what you think of this. What you think of this fight? Then, what about the bod on him? He's a very strange looking bod, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah,
good bod for fights, though, isn't it?
Sorry,
the Woodson. He's got a good bod for fights, though, isn't he? Long and all that.
Long and rangy, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What did you think of this fight? Speak to me about it. I'll let you go first.
I absolutely hated it.
I loved it. Tell me why.
Because it was honestly, right. But there's some things about it I do like. The fact that Woodson got, I think he don't get enough credit for this. He got knocked out when he got followed down to the mat after that knee. He ate a couple of punches and got knocked out. Right, he was knocked out on that canvas. That's the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, the fight shouldn't have carried on after that. It should have been a DQ. And I think he needs a lot more. I don't remember him getting. I remember them sort of giving him some props, but I think he deserved. When we've seen stuff like Aljamain Sterling, who was the guy recently who done it with the knee? I think it was a heavyweight guy or something. We've seen a couple of incidents lately where people have taken, let's just say, questionably the easier route and gone for. I'll get the.
There was another bloke.
There was a guy, and when he found out that it wasn't going to be a DQ in his favour, he kind of done a bit. He
asked, didn't he? He said to the, do you want to continue? And he went, well, let me just confirm. He committed back, right?
Yeah. Am I getting my hand raised here or not? Yeah. So we've seen that a couple of times, and I think the fact that he definitely got put out. He was out for a split second. His eyes went in the back of his head, and he was like, Poosh. And so he was knocked out cold. as far as I'm concerned, probably if they knew that, I mean, I don't know if they knew that or what, he wouldn't have been allowed to carry on, you know, if Ratman saw it. But
Obviously, he was allowed to carry on because it was from an illegal strike, right?
yeah, but do they know that he was actually out cold? There was one point where he was out cold. As far as I'm concerned, he was out cold. I don't think you can carry on after that. I wouldn't have thought legally you can carry on after.
Well, no one said he was, so I'm going to say that no one noticed or
I'm
didn't want to
saying
notice.
he was out after. It wasn't the knee; it was the couple of follow-up strikes. He went out cold. Right, his legs went limp and everything. I mean, they always look pretty limp, his legs, to be fair, but they did go really limp.
Even more limp.
They basically turned into two bits of jelly, you know? And so I think he deserves a lot of credit for the fact that the guy who said, well, do you want to carry on? And he didn't do well, hang on a sec, will I win the fight if he gets disqualified? He didn't know, he just went, he even turned into Mickey Mouse. Did you hear
It's a real high pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. You know, I really liked that.
Yeah, no one made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
They make a big deal if the person does the other thing, but yeah, no one said anything like, oh, he's a warrior doing that. No one said now.
Yeah, I thought he deserved a lot of praise for that. And not only that, you know, he obviously, that's it. And not only that, he obviously won the following rounds, right? Because that's what got him the draw. So I don't think he won both the rounds. Not all the judges.
It was a split draw.
Definitely got round 3.
Yeah, but I'm non-real at maths, but yeah, because you got the point deducted for the knee to the face.
Yeah, and it was all about whether the judges scored it 10-8 that first round, and then his point off, so it would have been 9-8. Regardless, I think he deserves credit for carrying on and being competitive and probably winning at least the third round. I thought that Saldana wasn't very good.
Loved him.
You would have loved him because he kept on doing, you know, this stuff and all this. That's why you would have loved him, right? But I don't think he looks that great.
I agree with his corner. His corner said to him when he was winning the fight, because let's face it, you can say he weren't that good. He mashed Woodson, illegal knee out of it. He's beating Woodson up, right? Knocked him down with jab.
When I say don't look that good, I'm talking relatively speaking about.
Okay.
But stuff like that.
When he was doing what he needed to do, which was keep him at range, throw a load of kicks, when he saw the opportunities, throw decent straight punches, he was winning that fight, right? Obviously, he was winning that fight. So I actually thought he was all right. I know why you're saying he wasn't that good, but yeah, you're right. I liked it that he knocked him down and didn't just jump on him. I loved it that he just went, right, get back here. And we didn't see it on the broadcast. Just at the end of one of the clips, on the replays, he went down on his knee as well. Now, I like stuff like that. I like it. It's entertaining. It's a bit Anderson Silva style. You know, he's my favourite. It shows a lot of confidence that he's like, well, I'll just do it again, no problem. Whereas Dana White...
do it again, right? Decked him with a jab.
Right, exactly. But Dana White, on the other hand, is like, that kid's learnt a lesson there. You got to finish the fight and all that. But I'm like, no, I loved it. You know, let's have it. Let's have another smash or whatever. So I liked it. But
yeah, I'm probably being a bit hot. Oh, there's a cat spraying its scent all over my flowers, literally outside my back door.
Brilliant.
But there was, I think he was, I was probably being a bit harsh on him, and I also did like the, come on, stand back up.
Get back up, yeah. Because if you can't get back up, then the fight's over.
Exactly. Yeah, and he wasn't the favourite, right? He was a huge underdog and stuff like that. There was aspects of his, if you like, his nature and all that I thought were good. I just didn't like the fight because I just don't think he should have carried on after that knee landed. It's a real shame for that Saldana, right? Because if he didn't throw that knee, he probably would have got a performance bonus and everything.
Probably,
but that knee basically ruined everything for him. He ended up having to continue the fight. He definitely lost round 3. Round 2, I don't know how it was scored with the judges, but obviously he ended up him only getting a draw. So he kind of snatched a draw from the jaws of victory because Goldson was basically at a point where he couldn't take any of that guy's shots. I mean, that jab just, almost knocked him out cold. I
did like it because he sort of didn't stay in the middle. He sort of moved to the side, and I did think it was a good jab. I know why he got done by it, but as you say, he just couldn't take anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed
he did well, didn't he, though, to come back into that fight, Woodson?
Yeah. For me, saying I hated that fight, I actually didn't hate that fight. It had a lot of drama, had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It was actually pretty good. But I don't like the fact that I don't think Goldson got the credit he deserved for carrying on without any kind of...
Well, who?
Woodson.
No,
I did
no,
say
wait.
Goldson. I did say Goldson. Yeah, I don't know why. Who's Goldson?
It's a good name.
I have no idea. I have no idea who he is.
He's brilliant.
But
Goldson.
yeah, it's me saying he deserves credit, and I can't even get his name right. But yeah, I do think he deserves credit for fighting on. So, but I don't think he should have been allowed to.
What about
He should have
the
been a DQ.
split draw? Good. I mean, with all the drama that went on, I like that result. It went brilliant because whoever won that fight, I would have gone, well, he shouldn't really have won it because he done an illegal strike, and Goldson shouldn't have won it because he lost it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked the result.
It's kind of like the fairest outcome, you know, the fairest outcome for Goldson, whoever he is.
Yeah, wasn't it though? It kind of made sense. I went, yeah, that was a good result. That's
Yeah.
why.
So you're right. It was a brilliant fight. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one. We're still on the prelims, aren't we? Yeah, so we're still on prelims. The next one. Ooh. All right, okay. Leonardo Santos versus Jared Flash Gordon. From memory, I think I might have seen a few maybe interesting, exciting Santos fights, but I don't know if I've ever seen a exciting Flash Gordon fight. Was he always in stinkers or what?
I don't think so. I think he's all right, but I think Santos is just one of those infuriating blokes now, isn't he?
I know. I forgot to ask you a question
Ask me.
about the Goldson and Saldana fight.
Ask me.
The Beltran, the ref.
Mm.
Do you think he could have been more clearer after that illegal knee, letting Goldson know, look, you've got 5 minutes here. You don't need to. Is that his job? Should he have, because he knows he's been dazed, should he have been more clear? Maybe he's not allowed to. Maybe it's not his job. Maybe it's his job to go, you've got 5 minutes to recover, and I don't care if you take 2 seconds or 5 minutes. Or do you think he could have been a little bit more like, listen, you just got mashed. Take the full 5.
Well, we don't see the whole broadcast, right? So maybe there's time he did make that clear at a point where I don't know, we had to listen to Daniel Cormier chatting absolute balls. So he might have made that clear. But if he didn't, I do think it is his job. You see it often with referees, right? Where they'll say, no rush, are you sure you're ready? You've got 5 minutes. You know, they will really sort of say, you know, calm down, take your time, and stuff like that.
Yeah, but this was a bit like, you know, keep it clean, let's go. It's like, it's done.
That's what I mean. It's like, and he was out cold as well. I'm telling you, he got knocked out. He got knocked out, and he basically got given like 45 seconds to recover. Aljamain Sterling basically, you know,
took the full 5 along with the belt.
yeah, took the full 5, the belt, the rematch, took everything. Brilliant.
Everything, yeah. Brilliant, yeah. So. Exactly. All right, yeah, just wondered because I just thought it was a little bit like rushing the broadcast going, well, let's go then, let's have a fight. So, well, hold on a minute. That's a legit 5 minutes, that. Or, as you said, maybe even stop the fight and go, don't matter whether you meant it or not, this guy's not fit to continue. Look, you could say he proved he was fit to continue because of the next couple of rounds. But just because you carried on fighting for the next couple of rounds, it don't mean he was fit to continue just from that. Maybe he was.
There's not a situation where you should be knocked down and then carry on fighting. Even Bisping versus Silva, right? That knee at the end of the round. Bisping wasn't out.
No.
He was down, dazed, confused, you know, on Queer Street, whatever you want to call it. He wasn't out. This Goldson, because that's his name now, Goldson, he was out.
All right. Okay. All right, I'm just checking. So, all right. Well, back onto this one.
Right. We're talking about Leonardo Santos, right? Just interesting. I mean, he has got a couple of good wins on his record. You know, the Kevin Lee KO was obviously, you know, a high point, but that is one that's probably over time has aged.
How did he do him?
Not knockout. I think it was like a straight right hand.
Oh, okay.
It was a nice knockout, but it's one that probably hasn't aged as well because obviously Kevin Lee as his career has taken a bit of a downward turn, even though I think he's brilliant. So
yeah, good.
So, but before that, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'd won 7 and drawn 1 of his first 8 fights in the UFC. So he was doing amazing. And then he's come back and lost these last 3. They mentioned he was 42 on the broadcast. And honestly,
I didn't notice that. He don't look 42. He looks all right, doesn't he?
He does look, decent for 42. Most fighters do, right? Because they keep himself in really good nick.
What about Masaran Duba?
Yeah, I know, but remember, he was about 63 when he entered the organisation.
What about Cub
God,
Swanson?
God knows what age he is now.
Swanson.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I can't.
Well, it's only a couple I've given you. You know what I mean? Only a couple.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's another one. Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
He looked about 40 from day one. So, what about Rani Yahya? I swear he's about 50.
Oh my God, he looks about 90. And the way he fights is about 90 and all.
Yeah, so there's a fair
Not 90
few.
miles an hour.
But yeah, I think he's Santos. He one of those. The frustrating thing about watching people like him fight is, as they said on the broadcast, he's a highly decorated jiu-jitsu fighter who seems to have no interest in taking.
Oh, he does do fist. Yeah, goes in and does a smash. Yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'd be so infuriated. If I was in his core, I'd be so infuriated. To me, 90% of that guy's training camp should be thinking about how to get the fight to the mat.
All right, well, but
and because of that, I ended up having to watch 15 minutes of that. So
it was crap, that fight, wasn't it?
I'm pretty furious about it. So yeah,
I didn't like it. Yeah, it was a bad one. It was a bad one. I've not got much to say about it either, because I also don't want to prolong it. We've already both been done with 15 minutes of it. There was a couple of bench grabs in there that came up during the fight, what Herb Dean did nothing about. You know, I'm not saying it's a discussion point. If you say anything, it is. If you don't, I ain't bothered either.
Well, it obviously became relevant later, right?
Why?
There was another fight where he reset them. Leon Edwards, right? He reset Leon Edwards for grabbing the fence.
Yeah. Was it the same Herb Dean's? I think it was.
It was because I remember Rogan saying, quite funnily, I know we're going to talk about this properly later, but I remember Rogan saying when he reset him, he goes, and that's why Herb Dean's the best in the game. And I went, huh? Has Herb Dean got that reputation, has he?
Well, maybe.
Not amongst people I know. Most people
maybe he was asleep in that Santos Gordon fight, you know what I mean? Never saw it. But yeah, look, he did used to have that reputation for sure, but
yeah, he lost that about 8 years ago, and he's never got it back. So,
all right.
I don't think he's a rubbish ref, by the way. I don't think he's like the worst, and we've always discussed about how difficult a job that is. You have to make split-second decisions, not like boxing, right? Where someone goes down, and as a ref, you've got 10 seconds, one, to count, but also to, get your thoughts in order. This is one where somebody gets hit, you see their eyes roll in the back of the head, you race over, you intervene, but when the guy his back hits the canvas, he wakes back up and grabs an ankle just as you're getting involved. It's like, and then everyone's like, "You knobhead, you ruined that fight." It's like, but he was out. He was out. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't in that job. I think it's a really difficult job to do, and I don't think Herb Dean's terrible at it. All MMA referees will make mistakes, but I definitely think he's made a few. I was watching one on Twitter the other day, someone posted, where he actually kind of got involved in the fight, actually kind of went between them and then then afterwards went, "No, I've changed my mind," and then said, "Carry on." So
I love it.
You can't. But anyway,
you can change it. Well, you can't change. Well, you can't change it. Well, look. So the fence grabs, and then it was such a boring fight that he was standing there after winning, because he won, didn't he, on decision? Jared Gordon. Yeah, and he was standing there going, "Where's my post-fight interview?" And they were like, No, you've had 15 minutes. You just taken 15 minutes of this broadcast. You ain't having no more. So yeah, he got banned. Stood there and went.
Right. He went like this, then he went like that, and then it just cut to the ad break. The other thing as well is, I think maybe because stuff like the Goldson fight, they're running a bit behind on the broadcast, because I know that it did overrun into the
main card. It did. You're right.
Yeah, it ran over into the main card. So they're probably running a bit behind. And they thought, we're already running behind. There is no way we're giving you an extra 5 minutes after that.
No.
They should have done what that Russian promoter done. Do you remember when he walked in the cage in round 5 recently and said, "This fight's over. I'm banning it."
Well, I don't know. I don't remember it.
There was a fight between, I think it was in Russia, and it was so boring that the promoter came in.
I do remember it.
The last round and said, "Forget it.
You sent the clip over.
Just forget it. This fight's over." So
I don't care what you say. I ain't having this on my watch. It stinks.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stick to the prelims. We won't give him any more time either. We won't give him a post-fight either. The next fight, I mean, terrible fight. Marcin Taibura. What does Taibura mean? Because there's got to be a good reason for that nickname, and there was maybe Taibura means something.
Oh, well,
it's just a bit of his name, isn't it?
Carry on.
Versus Alexander, which is King Kong Romanov, and he said before the fight, I know you probably wouldn't have watched these bits. I don't either, but I just managed to catch a bit where he said he wants to show people his great shape. And then all he did was lay on Taibura in round 1, and at the start of round 2, he had 0 breath. I was like, what's going on here? What the flip's going on?
Well, I've got a picture of him on my screen now, and that don't look like a great shape to me either. It's not the reason I'm going down the gym every day. Let's put it like that.
I mean, it ain't bad for a big un, but...
it isn't. And neither of them are, right? To be fair, for heavyweights.
They are both all right, yeah.
Yeah, they're both actually all right for heavyweights.
But this is a bad one, wasn't it?
It wasn't. I actually liked Taibura. And I've actually
I think he's all right.
I actually quite liked Romanov's fights so far.
Because he just does flashes, doesn't he? Yeah.
So he's kind of good when it seems probably that slightly level below where he can just get guys to the mat, because he was doing some wicked suplexes, right, in the first round on Taibura. But then after that, it just seemed he had nothing to offer. A little bit of strikes, but it just seemed like he was hoping to nick another round, nick one of the last 2 rounds and then get a decision. That's what it looked like to me. And Taibura, I think, is quite good. So he didn't really win both those rounds that convincingly. I think he won them both. But let's put it like this. If someone gave Romanov one of those 2 rounds, I wouldn't have been outraged by it. I'd have been like, right,
it was decision Taibura, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. 29-28.
Oh, yeah, because he was undefeated bloke, wasn't he?
Romanov. That's right, 16, no. One judge gave it 28-28, so obviously gave Romanov a 10-8 round in the first round, which I wouldn't do because even though he was completely dominant, there was no point where I thought Taibura was in trouble or at risk of being finished or in, taking...
No damage, and damage is one of the things. So
exactly, yeah. So I wouldn't have scored it at 10-8. It was.
I mean, if anything, like I say, once they got up, to me, if you didn't know what had happened, you'd say Romanov's losing because he could barely walk and breathe, and he was the one winning round 1. You know what I mean? You give him a 10-8, and he can't even basically fight for the rest of the fight. Crap. Didn't like it.
No, wasn't the most entertaining fight there's ever been. There's no doubt about it.
I've got a question about what's his name? Saldana.
We've done him. It's finished.
No. On his right hand, he's missing his index finger, and you normally know why things like that. Do you know why?
Did they not say on the broadcast?
No. Just they said that he's missing it, and I went, oh. And I could then notice that the glove was, up, if you know what I mean, because it weren't crushed with the rest of his. So you could then see he was missing it, but I didn't hear them. I didn't get rid of that fight. I didn't fast forward it. I didn't hear them say why. It's like I was meant to know, and I wondered if you did know, and if you didn't know, can you tell me, please? Because that's.
I don't know, and I also don't know why.
Luis Saldana finger, please.
I'll put it in. It ain't come up. Someone like what's his name needs to. Oh no, that's not it. Someone like the Hap or John Morgan.
Oh, he'll write an article on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to write an article on it. Don't know. So that's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, look.
And I don't know what Taibura means either. So what a crap podcast this is. Get rid of it. Done.
That's not our fault. Well, no, I suppose we should be more informed. But anyway, that's the prelims done.